Hey guys, welcome to the Pitch Black unboxing show. We have with us today a treat for you. We have got Ken and Mary from the Humble Penny. And to be honest, I'm not really sure why they're called a Humble Penny because they look like £1 million. So, hey, welcome guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited to be with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Welcome to the Pitch Black unboxing show.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you know, we just want to, here at Pitch Black, all we do is we just want to celebrate, share on, and challenge people to be and do so much more than they think they can. And, you know, we're just so delighted to have Ken and Mary with us. So, hey, welcome, guys.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, awesome. You're doing an amazing job, by the way. So, yeah.
We're loving you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're honoured to be here. Thank you.
We're privileged to have you guys. And of course, you guys run the Humble Penny and also the Financial Joy Academy, which we're going to come on to a little bit more later on. But, you know, just tell us a little bit about your backgrounds before you started your journey of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to start? Do you want me to?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay. So my background is that I worked as an e-business analyst for one of the top 5 accountancy firms for about 5 years. And then I did something a bit, what some would call crazy, but when I was 3 months pregnant, I left my corporate job to help run a family nursery business. So basically to help expand one of the branches. And so I helped to manage a total different sector, totally, you know, running a business with family. It was all just very new to me, whilst obviously being pregnant and bringing up children, but it was fun. I did that for about 7 years.
7 years.
And I was able to, you know, be present with my children and take them along with me to work. We then launched a Humble Penny, and I was doing that like on the side. I was doing a Humble Penny on the side whilst working in a nursery, but then I then left the nursery in 2019 to work on the Humble Penny full time. So that's briefly my journey.
So with me, I've always worked in the financial services industry for about 14 years. And my background is that I trained as a chartered accountant and worked from like junior accountant, trainee accountant, all the way to become a chief financial officer in the venture capital business. And so I've done like everything from being a management accountant, financial controller, finance director, chief financial officer, all within like the asset management business in financial services. So my last job was that I was a CFO for a venture capital business. I was there for 3 years, and obviously, actually, I left in April 2020 to focus on the Humble Penny full time because an opportunity presented itself, which was the pandemic. The pandemic kind of showed up. And the pandemic was, in a weird way, looking back now, a gift to us. Because Mary had been on the Humble Penny full time since 2019, but we were like thinking, "Oh, how are we going to make it happen for me?" And like, should we do it? Should we not? You know, obviously the pandemic came, and it got too much. If I'm being honest, like homeschooling, demanding job, mental health challenges, like all this stuff just felt like it just came together. But at the same time, I felt this. I don't know, this opportunity to focus on this full time because the Humble Penny was starting to take off as well. And that's kind of how came to where we are.
Just for the benefit of our viewers, what exactly is the Humble Penny?
Okay, so the Humble Penny is a personal finance brand. Okay, that Mary and I run together. We created it to help people, in our own words, create financial joy in their lives. So we want people to shift away from looking at money and feeling stress, feeling anxiety, being worried, living paycheck to paycheck. Like, we want people to go from where they are to a place where they become financially independent, but beyond that, they go beyond that and start to use money to design a life that works for them. This is what we call the life of financial joy, where they have impact in the world, where they sow into, they invest in things they want to invest in, they create the family life they want, that sort of stuff. That's really what the Humble Penny exists to help people to do.
It's absolutely amazing, guys. And it, when we're talking to entrepreneurs for the show and in general, because it's what we love, cheering each other on, one of the biggest challenges that people talk about is the financing, you know. So what advice could you give to Black entrepreneurs, people of color, you know, to reach that point where that joy is amazing? We want that. We want joy.
Wow. Okay. So that's, did you want to chip in? This is people you're talking about from their own personal lives, is what you're talking about?
Both.
Okay.
Both their personal life as well as funding.
Any way it's going to help bring some joy to a fledgling entrepreneur.
I mean, I'll let you answer that, but it's part of, you know, what we do at the Humble Penny. Really, is the framework is we help people to take control of their money, and we then empower them to grow their money and invest it, you know, and start a business basically. And you can go into detail as to how,
so
you know, the advice that you would give.
So we believe very strongly that, like, being able to thrive in your business begins with being able to thrive in your money life personally. Like, if you are able to master and look after a little bit of money, and you're able to live below your means, which is such an important thing, important concept, then you begin to create margin in your life, a bit of breathing room, some savings they can then deploy and invest in other asset classes. So it sounds really simplistic, but it's actually really powerful, because most adults struggle to live below their means. So that means that what that creates is a whole new identity for an individual, which then means if they're running a business, then they've understood something pretty powerful about how to manage their finances. And obviously we all know with businesses that cash flow is it's like the lifeblood of a business, you know. And that means you're able to begin small and bootstrap as a business owner. You're able to think creatively about how you I'll give you an example. The Humble Penny, when we started, it wasn't a business, it was just a creative outlet. It was just a blog. We were just writing, and I was writing articles, and Mary was just helping me with all her creative background and designing stuff. But because we'd been mastering our own money, Mary and I had been working towards becoming financially independent for almost 10 years before that. We knew that the thing we wanted to get to with the Humble Penny is to get it to a place where it becomes sustainable. It needed a way of making its own money. So the same attitudes, essentially, what I'm saying is the same attitudes in our personal lives effectively became what started to be mirrored within our business and kind of our outlook on business more generally.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you know, have you always wanted to do this? What were some of your career aspirations? I know you started as an accountant, as you said, you know, the trainee accountant, the management accountant, you know, the financial controller, and the CFO. What was the transition like from doing that to doing the Humble Penny? And also for you, Penny, what was the sorry, not
Mary.
Mary. Sorry.
you have embodied the business.
You have embodied the
business.
What was your transition like as well, from doing, you know, an e-business analyst to becoming, you know, an entrepreneur doing the Humble Penny?
It was quite challenging, but I'd say it was very fun. It's been fun. It's been rewarding. It's just been like a crazy, exciting adventure, hasn't it? But in terms of, you know, personally how I found it, I think one of the main challenges was trying to balance wearing different hats as being a mum, being a wife, because we had, like, when we started Humble Penny, our children were young. They were, you know, 2 and 3, basically. And so, just the challenge of having the dynamics of having husband and wife working together as well, trying to create our own kind of space. What else? But yeah, it's been, we've worked pretty hard to get to where we are, I'd say. And, you know, we've done everything to be innovative and authentic with our voice, you know, and our approach. And it's just been like it's been a learning journey for us. Something we're still growing. It's still a journey that we're on, and we're still learning new things every day because it requires different skill sets. Just different mindset, and being able to manage your own time. You're not having a boss to report to. There was just a lot of things that, you know, a lot of change and moving parts that required me adjusting as well.
I'd say for me.
Sorry, go on, Ken. Go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say that for me it was more of it was quite a big change, because with a job, like you're not hunting for your own revenue, like you're not, like it's just there, like you get to work, you just know someone is it. For me, it was the CEO who'd say, okay, here's our area of responsibility, here's what here are our goals, here's what we're trying to achieve. So a lot's actually done for you. I've had to wear a different hat now of becoming the visionary, and how do we find opportunities? How do we generate an income? How do we hire people to help us? And how do we create a strategy for growth and stuff like that? So a lot of my skills before were very useful and remain useful. So as a chief financial officer, I was about the systems, the processes, the budgeting, the forecasting. All those skills I had came into to become really useful in the business. But there were also skills I didn't have. Like, for example, like I wasn't used to running an online business. I had to, you know, Mary and I had to understand how online business models work, and how do you do marketing? How do you do selling? How do you do social media? How do you manage, you know, freelancers who are in different parts of the world? Like, one of our staff members is in Ukraine right now. You know, one is in Bangladesh. Like, how do you like manage all these resources, but with very little money? Do you see what I'm saying? Because these are not full-time employees. Like, how do you get the most bang out of your buck, so that your business is still progressing and you're growing, but you're not working in the business all the time, but you're working on the business itself.
So there's a huge transition there.
Absolutely.
You know, what I was going to ask is, Mary, where you said you came from one business doing the analysis work, and then you worked with family in nursery business. Did that actually cushion it a little bit? Did it make it easier to then, because Ken's gone from kind of like having, you know, a boss, and you know, and this is my role and this is what I do, and then all of a sudden it's you guys, but you've gone from doing that work to, okay, this is kind of like the interim where, you know, we've got to make this work for us, and then now it's like, okay, we're on our own.
No, definitely, because I was definitely given that freedom to come up with, like, what's our marketing plan? How are we going to reach, you know, many parents, not just, you know, on the road, but in the neighboring areas? How can we do that online? So I definitely had an easier transition, definitely, I would say. But it was a transition from the corporate world to the working in your own business. That was challenging. But from the nursery to the Humble Penny, it was more of a natural progression and transition for me. It was definitely harder for Ken.
It was definitely very different for me, particularly as well, because I had a really well-paid job. So giving up like a 6-figure salary, bonuses, perks, like share options, giving up all those things,
vitality,
like healthcare and like all these perks, to believe in your own idea. I mean, this is like,
Absolutely.
this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, when you say you're backing yourself and you're, you know, and it's scary because a lot of people are like, well, what if you fail? And what if it doesn't work out? And what if this? What if that? And, you know, but I was very fortunate in that I had first of all, I had my wife who believed in like what we were doing, but I had other supporters, like my parents. They were not like, oh, you're leaving your well-paid job. They were like, goodness, now you can become an entrepreneur, like do like what we've always done as a family. Because my parents, like, they were like,
wow,
business.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so they were like, yeah, you're gonna make it. Like, don't even worry. Like, you've got everyone supporting you. So it was just like, But there was I got to say though, there's a mental health shift because for me, there was a thing around just feeling like, wow, like I've got this burden now of this business. Like we've got to make something out of it, and we've got to figure out a way. It's no longer like a side hustle. Like it's no longer like a hobby. It's now the main event.
Real.
Yeah. It's the real deal now. So there was that shift in, you know, like, you know, I just went from like wanting it to work out to overworking myself, and obviously we had the lockdown. There were just so many, like mentally. I guess I look back on it now. There was this thing that existed where like I just felt like the transit, and no one. That's the thing. No one. There aren't many people who have done that you can speak to and relate to. Yeah. That's the other thing. So I couldn't see like all my friends. They're still in corporate. You know, they're still. You know, so I felt alone. You know, it's good I had Mary because like that was very helpful.
Yeah.
But there's still that loneliness in not having other people you can go to, even like other Black people you can go to and go, hey, hey, I've just made this transition. Like, what's going on? Like, let me pick your brain. Like, there's no one like that, you know, because even in the public domain, you have to be seen to be doing well, or seen to be handling yourself properly, or seen to be. So there was that dynamic of me finding myself in this new reality, basically.
Do you know what though? I did have a piece about it because it was like, you know, calculated. We did the numbers, and the business was starting to generate, you know, a decent amount of revenue that we could live on. And so, you know, my friends, a lot of people did say like, Mary, how did you feel when Ken said he was like, when he decided to quit? You know, it's just given us a better work-life balance. I could see how Ken was just being pulled by
everywhere.
so many, and I was really concerned about his mental health, you know, and mine. So it was just, we were very happy. It's improved our lives, you know, drastically. Not having to commute into the city every day.
And the pressure of a corporate job, a board level job, where I had like
a lot of
a lot of responsibility, a lot of, as a CFO, you know, lots of responsibility. So
that's a big job.
Because, you know, this is why I was asking about the transition and how you manage that, because a lot of the entrepreneurs that we speak to, we ask them about what's their inspiration, what was their early inspiration, what kept them going, but you've kind of like done an about turn. So a lot of people are aspiring to get to where you guys have been, but you kind of like come from that
exactly
to do something else where people will be like, well, was that the end point? So your drivers, so, you know, you've got a different set of drivers, and so that's where I was coming to. I was going to ask you, so what was your inspiration that could make you hang up the corporate hat, you know, to pick up a humble penny hat? I think I've heard the answer, but it'd be good to hear it from yourself.
I think, do you know what? I think there was something about, for me personally, about I've always done that traditional pathway, which is we've got a job, like there's this outline of do this, go to this position, do this, go to that position, but then I always felt that I wasn't like, there was a big part of me that was missing something that I could be doing in the world. Like there could be this much bigger impact I could be having, much bigger outcome. Like I always felt this void that I could be doing something so much bigger, you know. But it took a while to figure out what that thing was, because I didn't see myself as creative at all, because I was just a numbers guy.
You were the numbers man.
Doing my Excel all the time in my little cubicle, doing my thing. But I never saw myself as this creative person. But then I started to hang around with different people. Like I'd be in these groups, these things called masterminds, and I'd like get to know other bloggers, like all these other people. And I was like, wow, like you guys, it's interesting to see what you guys are doing, like how you're reaching like people in the world online, and you're earning an income like way more than you're getting in your day job. So I was very curious about how is this possible that people have created these brands that became like, they started very little, like nothing, but then over time they've just like an octopus, they've just gone all over the world, and they've had this massive reach, and they've been able to build a business out of it. So I had to find evidence, like I had to like literally see it for myself to believe it. I had to make friends with certain people and go like meet them for lunch and go like, like show me on your phone, like I want to see like how is this thing working. And so the blog, the humblepenny.com, was then, think of it as the canvas, the experimenting place where I was like, okay, I'll keep my job, but I'll try this thing called the Humble Penny. Let's just see what it goes. Like, let's have a bit of fun. And that was how it began. And the more Mary and I discussed it, I thought, you know what, like there could be this world where we have so much impact with what we know. Because remember, Mary and I have been going on our own personal money journey from 2009, 2010, and the Humble Penny began in 2017. So we've been going on a journey on our own, of our own wealth. We're like, well, actually, we're not seeing people that look like us talking about money. Like, like you go online, I don't see like a black couple, family, family situation maybe, or whatever, who are talking about money with our own lived experience. Me as a first immigrant. Mary, born and bred, from immigrant parents, grew up in Hackney all her life. Like, we haven't come from any money at all. Like, but there weren't people talking about money in the way we wanted, in an aspirational, game-changing way. So we kind of saw this Humble Penny thing as like, gosh, what if this is like God's way of saying, like, this is like a whole different pathway that I'm creating for you guys to have impact in the world, to really like help people move forward. So this is why like making that shift for me was very difficult, because I was already in a good place in my job. Like I could have stayed and gone on become non-exec director here, gone on FTSE 100, FTSE this, FTSE that, because they're looking for people like me, black men, who are like highly experienced and with all the tick. Like I'd anywhere I wanted to get into, because there were people looking for someone like this individual to, I don't know, come and work in this organization and so on. But the Humble Penny, there remained this promise that we felt this towards it, which is why we took that leap.
Okay. I like that. So Mary, I think, touched on the whole positive work-life balance thing that came as a result of leaving the corporate role. What are some of the other things that you enjoy about being an entrepreneur, apart from work-life balance?
I think there are many things that we enjoy.
Or in addition to your work-life balance, rather.
I think it's just being able to come up with an idea, a concept, and then being able to implement it, put it out in a marketplace, and then we're basically testing it, and seeing it being rewarded by the way people respond to it, and the way that we're able to generate an income from an idea that we just came up with, maybe like the night before, the day before, when we went for an afternoon stroll. And so that's been interesting. That's been exciting, really, for me. Just knowing that we can come up with something and then, put it out there in the world. And being online, we can reach like literally people all over the world. We get emails from people in the US, in Africa, in Asia. For me, that's just amazing. That's just
I feel like we've acquired, entrepreneurship has offered us what I call freedom skills, in that like we've acquired the confidence to deploy our skill sets, which is constantly evolving in a way that not only helps us solve problems for people, but also helps us to generate an income. So, for example, really random example is you mentioned our academy earlier, Financial Academy. We there wasn't a one we were looking at and going, yeah, like I've seen one like that. I want to try and build something that looks like that. We just we were like, oh, we want to help 10,000 people become financially free. How do we do it? How should we do it? Well, we need like a platform or something. We're like, okay, so how is it going to look? What should we call it? We're like, well, let's just call it Financial Academy because that's the tagline of the Humble Penny. So the name was easy, and it was a question of, well, actually, what else could we use the skills we've acquired so far? Like, how else could we create something? And this is how the evolution of what people see now as Financial Academy came. It came from like just saying, how can we help so many people without necessarily having to be with everybody at the same time?
Yeah, spread ourselves thin.
Yeah. How can we use technology to do it so that it's cost effective for something like that? Cost effective for somebody that can do it from anywhere in the world, and we can deliver it from anywhere in the world. So you see, we began with like a problem, and then we're like, okay, what's out there? How can we like make this happen? And and this is how, and this is one of the core benefits you said, outside of work-life balance is it's just being able to have that confidence to say, I can see a problem and I can think of how to solve that problem.
Yes.
And I have the confidence to use my skills to do it. Yeah. I couldn't do this when I had my day job.
You had to have different hoops.
Exactly. Without the layers of decision making. Yeah.
And you said you weren't creative, but I'm hearing a lot of creativity.
There's a lot of creativity coming out.
Ken is very creative.
But the thing is,
I can tell you're both very creative. That's brilliant.
You know what? I'll tell you what, Colin. It hasn't. I've never felt. I've had to dig deep within to believe that I'm creative.
Yeah.
Like I've had to believe things like I'm made in the image of God, so therefore I'm creative.
Absolutely.
So because for me, if you've worked in an industry where like all my job is just really all about, I did a really excellent job. It was really all about like negotiation and like technical ability and strategy. But creating, I'm like, oh, that's like, I don't know what that is, it's a whole different thing, So I've had to do it to become it. Like I've had to go write blog posts, make YouTube videos, post Instagram posts, and like figure stuff out to then say, oh, I think I'm creative. And do you see what I mean? So I haven't gone, oh, I'm not like creative first, business second. I'm business first, then creative second. It's like a weird thing.
It's a brilliant mix. Okay. Now we're at a stage, the new tax year has started. And we are at a stage where people's incomes are being squashed. The cost of living is rising. What would you say to someone who's thinking, I really need to make the best of what I've got? I really need to think about things like streams of income, for example. What would your advice be to those people who want to have a better landing during this financial year?
I'd say two things really. Look at how you can reduce your outgoings, but also look at how you can bring more money in via, like you said, an additional stream of income. So, the process of like lowering your outgoings, there's a whole process around budgeting, going hardcore by doing like a bare bones budget, by looking at all of your outgoings and removing any like nice to haves and only keeping the essentials. Then added on any type of like nice to haves. If depending on,
you need some fun things.
You need some fun things depending on how much you want to be saving on a monthly basis. But in terms of additional streams of income, we always say start with what you know, what you're good at already, and see how you can see how you can then monetize your skill set. And for some people, that's not an easy thing. Like, not everyone knows what they're good at. A lot of people don't actually know that. So maybe speak to people and ask your closest friends and family, like, what are the strengths that you see in me? And then, you know, there's a whole process of marrying your talents and with demands in the marketplace, and with your passion, and see how you can bring that together to then create something that you can then monetize and make money from it.
I'd probably say thanks for that. I think that was really powerful. I think a really important mindset shift for people is to prioritize growth over money. Let me explain what I mean. So if you live your life optimizing for growth, the money will follow. It's inevitable.
Absolutely.
Right? So the core thing is really to ask yourself, how am I growing as an individual? And how am I being challenged in my abilities and outside my comfort zone and stuff like that? So a really practical thing, which I think is really a lot of people could do, is put yourself in environments where you have people of a similar mindset in. So it could be in a small community, and you might have to pay for that community, but that's fine. But having this kind of ROI mindset, which is, if I'm paying for something, what return am I getting on it, is such a powerful mindset to have. Because then it removes you from just saying, oh, I don't want to pay for anything because I want to try and keep my money, right? But I think thinking upside is so much more sustainable than just thinking only downside, i.e. like, I want to keep everything I've got. So in that sense, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone by saying, well, actually, I've seen like, I'm looking for a mentor or someone like that, or someone who could help me learn a particular skill set, or a community I could join to be encouraged and be kept, held accountable. I think there's so much more of a shift towards cohort-based activities, doing things with other people, such that you're far more likely to get results by doing that than not doing it.
Like challenges, basically.
Like challenges and stuff like that.
But there's a deadline, you know, it's time.
And then obviously there's kind of keeping your house in order, right? I mean, like, if you're in a relationship, have a conversation with your partner. Like, have a money day. We've got a money day. You know, sit down and actually talk about money. What's going on in our lives right now? How much are we making? How much are we spending? Where's all our money going? Like last month, last 30 days, where has all our money gone? What have we done? Have we invested at all? If we've invested, what have we invested in? How much of our net income are we saving and investing each month? Like, these are simple questions, but these are questions that couples, people in relationships, or single people need to really ask themselves or ask each other. Because if you're not doing that, then you feel like you're fighting fires all the time. Like, everyone, inflation's going up, this is going up, this is national insurance is going up, and then you feel like you're always on a defensive. When in actual fact, you should be fortified and be looking proactive. Exactly, and be looking out and going, okay, I've made this move, right? Boom, the budget's in place, and we're observing that. Next, here's how we're trying to invest our money. Next, these are opportunities we're exploring. Next, this is how we're working to pay down our debt. It needs to be far more strategic, rather than feeling like things are happening, so therefore, like, I can't do anything. That sort of stuff.
And would you suggest that would be a similar process that small business owners or entrepreneurs would be going through, similar to the family?
Yeah, there are similarities. As a small business owner, there are a number of things one can actually do. So from an upside perspective, revenue perspective, we love the concept of the small global business. Let me explain. Because think about it. Forget about just having a corner shop and like you're waiting for the traffic to come by you and you're like, oh yeah, please come into my shop and buy my things. When in actual fact, you can think, well, actually, how can I move with the times? There's a book called Who Moved My Cheese, which is about change and how you respond to change, right? And think about what's going on. COVID has taught us all some really important lessons, which is that we can all operate online.
Absolutely. Small can be big.
Exactly. We shouldn't forget that, which then means if you run, say, an offline business as a small business owner, you want to be asking yourself, how do I introduce an online-based income stream?
Absolutely.
Like, how do I do that? Because then you remove the cap. There's no ups. There's no like ceiling. You've produced something else. Like Mary and I, for example, one thing we've launched recently is teaching people how to create membership businesses. How to actually like take your skill set and create something that gives you recurring income each month.
Yeah,
I think everyone who runs a business right now should be asking themselves in this digital age, how else how am I being competitive? Like, how am I being innovative with my business and growing the revenue and the revenues that we need for our business to grow? How we do it now. And then obviously inflation's been an issue for around the world. You know, inputs are more expensive, products are more expensive, as well as staff. You know, hiring staff is more expensive, which means as a business owner, you want to be asking yourself, am I pricing myself correctly? Like, am I still charging what I've been charging? You know, should I be raising my price now? Because like, hello, there's global inflation everywhere. Like prices are going up. Am I raising my price to make sure that I'm like keeping up with things and so on? And then from a cost perspective for a business, it then becomes about that annual budgeting process, credit control, managing creditors, making sure debtors are paying you, making sure that cash flow is coming in. So it's like again, it comes down to what Mary and I were saying earlier about the two, you know, what you're doing in your personal life really mirrors what you're doing in your business life. Is how are you raising the upside and how you use business tools like a budgeting process, a management accounting process to manage, you know, the everyday running, credit control process to manage the everyday running of a small business.
Okay.
There is a wealth of what the two of you are offering us today. There's so much. I feel like I need to just get some pen and paper and be taking some notes. Can you talked about the whole growth thing, you know, and prioritizing that over the actual monetary side of things, because then it will come. And then Mary, you were talking about monetizing your passions and that whole thing about when you're working with what you enjoy, you know, then it doesn't feel like you're doing a job of work. And it just feels like you've had this whole transition from career, vocational to calling.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I can really see where the joy is there. So the drivers for people who are saying, right, I'm going to start a new business, and the you know, the inspiration, the motivation, the thing that's going to keep them going. You know, can you nutshell for me then to see if it's similar to what I'm hearing? You know, because I can't just assume for you, but can you nutshell then what is your confidence and your driver then?
So I mean, what's driving us, you mean, as individuals within our business? So for us, it's about the impact that we believe we can have. Like when we put out numbers like we want to help 10,000 people become financially independent, we mean it. Like, because Mary and I understand how achieving a goal like that for us has helped change our lives radically. It's better giving us this optionality to do with our lives as we want, you know, like run things like our Financial Academy and other projects that will come down the line. We also want that for other people, because we can see the ripple effect that this approach has. If you look after, if you're diligent with, you know, your own finances, if you are, if you really manage money well, and if you're really employ creativity, you can create a life that, you know, you really desire. But then that life isn't just about you; it's about helping other people achieve other outcomes. It's about like, how do you then use that ability to serve other people? So for us, right at the core is this life of service, wanting to make a difference to people's lives, you know, our communities, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you said it so well. I mean, I echo everything Ken said. Us being people of faith, we believe that all our gifts, our talents is not for us, but it's for the betterment of other people. And so that definitely drives us, that everything we do, we know that we want to impact other people to then be an influence within their sphere, within their own, like, you know, life as well, and there's that ripple effect. Like Ken said, so that's definitely what drives us, that it's definitely a calling for us, something we feel led to do, basically.
And also for our children, like, you know, it's interesting because like Mary and I are parents, we got 2 boys, one's going to be 9 next month. And one is 7, right? And so they're watching us a lot, and we know they're watching us a lot, you know? And so, and we know that we watched our parents a lot, you know? So for us, this journey is also about that that legacy with our children, actually helping them to create, like, do way more than we've done, helping them to build confidence, to you know, begin to take risk early, you know, to be innovative, to believe that they can make a difference in the world, they can solve real problems, like just really trying to set the right examples as well for within our family. And then we hope that that really ignites for a lot of other families as well. As they watch us do this, they can actually think, well, actually, why can't we do the same? Like, you know, this is really what we want, people to create new possibilities in their lives, because we know it's possible. So we're really trying to help people to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely love that. Financial joy for 10,000 people. If anything we've seen today, it all points to the fact that you guys can and will do this. So we'll certainly be rooting for, we'll certainly be cheering you on. You know, what can we expect from Ken and Mary for the next year? Well, what does the next year look like for you guys in terms of both the Humble Penny and the Financial Joy Academy?
Okay. Do you want to share about the Humble Kitchen, maybe?
Yeah, so we have a lot of other projects that we're working on. So we have the Architect program, which, you know, Ken will talk about. And we also have the launch of the Humble Kitchen. And that's all about helping people to, do you know what? It's everything, you do everything in the kitchen. Like, we brainstormed the name, the Humble Penny, in our kitchen. But it's all about helping people to food shop on a budget, live healthy on a budget as well, and just being able to be better organized in their kitchen, whether that's through food prepping, you know, being a bit more organized and prepared in advance, and just every other like lifestyle. It's early stages.
It's a sister brand.
It's a sister brand of the Humble Penny.
Good.
And then we've just recently launched something called the Architect program. And the reason it's called that is because Mary and I feel when we created Financial Joy Academy, which is another brand, we created that for the people we call the dream makers, the people who are actually making their dreams happen. But Mary and I felt a calling to speak to a different person who's purpose-led. And this person, we call them the dream architects. They're the people who are going to build platforms that will enable other people. So really help to, this thing called the Architects program essentially is helping people take their unique specialized knowledge and expertise, use it to create a platform that serves and helps other people, but it helps them generate multiple streams of income because it's a business. So we're trying to solve 2 problems, which is like, people need help, and a lot of people are purpose-led, but they don't know how to do anything with that desire. But then they also want to earn income and create more freedom, bringing them together. And essentially, it's a coaching program that we've launched last week. That's one thing. And then the other thing we're working on this year is Financial Joy Academy, listening to our community, improving the user experience, the technology, just really making it even better than what it is so far. And then I'd say probably the final thing is we've been thinking a lot about parents, because a lot of parents don't know how to teach their kids about money. And that's because a lot of parents are still learning themselves. So one thing we've been thinking a lot about is, how can we create a program or something of that nature that means that parents and their children are learning together in a fun way. So so that way you're helping 2 generations in effect. So it's like the ideation phase at the minute. We're still kind of moving towards that, but it's something we hope we'll be able to bring to life. You know,
love it.
Amazing.
You guys are a huge inspiration. But I think you also go beyond that. You're making tangible impact in all the stuff you're doing, because we know many people who are still trying to struggle to get control of their finances, and a lot of times the control of the finances, it starts here. And I think a lot of the things that you guys are doing in changing mindsets, but not just showing people how to, but doing it yourselves and becoming a role model that people can follow. That's a huge thing. So listen, thank you so much for doing that. And we at Pitch Black, we are celebrating you guys. We're cheering you on. And you know, hey.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, hey, it's been a huge privilege talking to you guys today. Have you got anything to say or ask before we go?
I just feel like I need to sign up to some courses. Can you tell the viewers where, they can sign up to these programs, where they can find out more?
Yeah. So, for Financial Joy Academy, which is the program we've created to help 10,000 people become financially independent this decade, you can go to financialjoyacademy.com. That's the website. That's where you can go. For the Architect program that I mentioned earlier, it's so new that we haven't even created a website for it. But it's been fully booked already for the first 12 people, and we're now starting a new cohort.
Wow.
We started. It's already like we haven't even got a website. It's already fully booked. We started last week.
Have you got space for 2 more?
So we started a new cohort in April or May.
Yeah.
So it's 12 people at a time for 12 weeks. We'll work with them closely.
Brilliant.
And that's the goal. At the end of it, they'll create this business that exists now to solve a problem and make them an income. So with that, head over to thehumblepenny.com, and that's where you can contact us. You can email us. Maybe just send us an email with the headline, the Architects program, something of that nature. Because our website's been rebranded and revamped, but you can obviously still work. You can visit it now and so on. So that's another place that you can message us.
Also, check out the blog post whilst you're there. Lots of free, amazing content under humblepenny.com. And we also have our YouTube channel. So it's just The Humble Penny, where we have various playlists. You can learn about investing, making money, saving money, being debt-free, getting debt-free. So check that out.
Starting a business.
Yeah, starting a business. And also check out our Instagram.
Instagram, we have a lot of fun on.
Yeah, we have fun on Instagram.
It's the Humble Penny, so feel free to check it out on there.
Brilliant. I do remember. I think you go live on a Friday.
Is that
what it is? It's interesting.
I think so. Yeah. But you went live, and I dived in, but I think I pressed the wrong button, and all of a sudden it was getting my camera ready, and I wasn't ready to be on camera. So apologies.
I'm like, come on, where's Pitch Black? I've just seen the Pitch Black. They wanted to jump on the floor, but it just disappeared. It's just gone Pitch Black here. What's happened?
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. We're just cheering you on, and we're looking forward to seeing the next year.
Really do.
Pleasure. So thank you very much. All right, take care. We wish you the very best, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Well done. Much love, guys.
Thank you.